All right, all right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And let me go ahead and cut this up a little bit. Let me put this gain up just a little bit there. Citizens of YouTube, this is Pastor Dowell. Many times, especially during this Passover meeting here, I've had a few brothers as well as a few sisters ask me, as well as I had a few statements made to me. Everybody know Rabbi Steve, of course. He has concerns about certain things too, and the concern is everybody wants to know, how do we start walking in this love thing? Because the Bible clearly says, by this all men shall know that you are my disciples, by the love that you have one to another, or one for another. So listen to me very closely. Let me go in here and teach you a little bit about how to implement this, so you can be guided in your daily lives as you go forward. Because if you don't have one that is wise, that will able to give you instruction as you go forth, then no doubt we're going to continue to make the same mistakes of the past, and many of us we don't want to repeat the same mistakes of the past. So let's go forward here in a good sound teaching here this morning, because it's placed upon my heart to try to instruct the lost sheep of the house of Israel, as well as the strangers that are scattered abroad. So listen to me very closely. And I'll start off by giving you a scenario, everyday scenario that we're often faced with over and over and over again. Some time ago, and don't get me wrong, listen to me very closely. I had spoken with our sisters and I said, y'all don't love. Y'all just literally don't know how to love each other. Now, it's one thing to tell the sisters that you don't know how to love each other, but it's another thing to teach them how to love each other, because I know it's in the heart of every real true Israelite to really walk in Torah, to walk in the commandments and the scriptures. I know they want to be obedient to the Father. None of them come this way because they want to stay the way that they are, be it brethren or sisters. Everybody here, because we want to be perfected. We want to remove the leaven out of our hearts. We want to remove sin away from our character, our nature, our feelings, and our emotions, and we want to walk in uprightness to the Father. And that's what we want to do, because we are His 16. I mean, that He has just flat out called us. So let me go ahead and get to the point right here. Let me use sisters as an example, okay? Because if I use sisters as an example, people will begin to understand this. Now, listen to me very closely. All right. Let's say you have a sister that is transgressing a rule or a guideline. It can be something very, very small, very, very small. It makes no difference what it is. Just pick one. Let's just say, but everybody else is well informed on the way that things should be, and we should be. We know that we are walking in it. So therefore, we do not have, and neither do we possess, any judgments towards each other. But let's just say you have a sister transgressing in a part of the law. Now, the one that loves that sister will be the one that is despised and hated by all the rest of the people, simply because they lack understanding. I don't know what's going on with us today to where we read this Bible and yet it has no impact on our character or nature whatsoever at all. And I'm hoping that we will really pay attention here this morning and really grow by this. So let's say you have a sister in transgression, okay? And I'm going to explain this. And you've got one in transgression, okay? And what happens is all those who are keeping the rules and the guidelines, rather than them going to the sister and telling her where she's falling short or what the rule or the guideline is, they would rather speak among themselves and talk about the sister behind their back and how she's falling short, how she's not doing this, how she's not doing that. And you may have told her, or somebody's may have told her once or twice. The problem is that we're not really truly looking for the love that the Father says, because if we were really truly looking for love, then we would go to our sister. We will go to our brother. That's what we would do, so that they would not transgress anymore. Will you meet opposition? Sure, it depends on the character and nature. That's where you have to use discernment to see where that person's heart is. Because you think about this for a moment. You have a sister in transgression, and you have all these other sisters talking about and stuff, and then when she comes around, she senses that something is just not quite right, because the atmosphere is all wrong. And the reason why the atmosphere is all wrong is because we have a slander going out with this sister. Now, she still comes around, you know what I mean, but she doesn't realize what's going on, because there are very few people that would actually approach this in love. See, this is how we behave as Americans, and we need to stop this nonsense, man. It's the reason why we have to, especially as Israelites, those of us who are going to be ministers to the nations. We have to teach the people of the land the right way to function, because we're going to be possessing the kingdom, and we can't rule in this kingdom if we don't rule right ourselves. So this is the way it goes. All right, I'm going to approach this again. You have a sister that is in transgression, and you have 4 or 5 sisters that realize this sister is in some type of minute transgression or breaking some type of rule. She doesn't mean to, but she's doing it. The one that truly loves that sister is the one that will go to her and begin to tell her where she's transgressing. It makes no difference whether she receives it or not. Now, 99.9% of the time, since we have grown up in a country where we justify ourselves, we're not going to receive it. Sometimes it takes people a little while after you give them wisdom, knowledge, information, understanding. It may take them a day or two to mull it over before it resonates, because we're just not as keen and we're not as quick in discerning as we are today. And that's when the Ruah begins to talk to us. But I can tell you right now, all those sisters who refuse to come to you when they know you're in a known transgression, but yet they talk about you behind your back, and they knew you was in transgressions, those are not the ones that love you. Those are not the ones that can't be trusted. The one that loved you was the one who came to you, told you the rules, the guidelines, where you fell short, and you had the opportunity to correct yourself and then walk, therefore, in the newness of life. All the rest of these people are prat and hypocrites, and they can't be trusted. And they don't know how to be a friend because they cannot first show themselves friendly. And it seems to be a serious problem and epidemic in this country right here. I don't know why people are afraid to go to another brother or sister. Now, because they fear. That's none of your business. That's between them and the Father. You have nothing to do with their own personal fears. That's on them. But yet and still, these fears, which are charged by feelings and emotions, they actually, impact hard people's life. And when you refuse to understand spiritual warfare, you're not going to understand these things because you're not seeking any understanding. Because we do live in a world where every man and every woman is right in their own eyes. So a lot of times when someone that truly loves you come to you and correct you, you're going to experience grief. And that grief depends on where your heart is. Because there's one thing about a righteous man or a righteous woman. Reproofs will enter deep down into them. That's what it would do. Reproofs would enter deep down into a wise man and a wise woman, and they would consider all things that were said and done, and they would take the best course of action that will perfect them and improve them. And this is what we need more of in the assembly. So, it's not right if you know somebody who may be missing a mark or in transgression or something like that, for you to jump on the telephone and begin to talk to somebody else, because they'll do the same thing to you. It's only a matter of time. And then make and create an atmosphere to make this sister feel uncomfortable and unwelcome when she should be feeling comfortable and welcome and stuff. Walking in love is not as easy. We love in America. We love with our lips, but we we hate with our heart. It's just lying lips. It's just amazing. We love playing lip service to people rather than being a real, true disciple. But the one that will be willing to correct you, instruct you the right way, and has understanding. This is someone that actually has your best interest and your soul in mind. See, these principles, even though yet and still while we live on a daily basis, you can hardly ever find these type of teachings anywhere in the world today. I hope I said something that will actually reveal the hearts and the intentions of all people. Because if you really truly are seeking love, I know one thing that love does. He who loves transgression loves strife. Now, go figure that one out. And if you can't go, if you see something going on with your brother and sister, and you can't go to them, and neither do you have the character to go to them, nor the desire to go to them, then keep your tongue, guard your tongue, until you can develop enough strength, if you ever can. Don't go whisper and spit in somebody else's ear because you have a concern for this sister right here. I understand there's a lack of love in this country, but until you start demonstrating what real true love is, and really truly loving your brother and sister, be it when they come into you or you going to them, no man's going to really truly know us, that we are the Messiah's disciples, unless we start demonstrating this our own selves. And you have to understand, we live in a world that loves slander. Matter of fact, it's the favorite pastime of conversation. They can't even fathom speaking without slandering. It's just what we've degenerate to. We just a bunch of degenerates, and it's just the truth. So learn from this message right here and apply these principles in your daily life. You'll find not only your heart being more merry, but you'll find out that you may be able to gain a friend or two. Just maybe you'll be able to. I hope I said something here to stimulate your thought here this morning. Y'all be encouraged.